All right, welcome to the Sushi Forum episode 20. What is this? What is 22, 23, 22, 23, 23? Where we discuss this week's news, proposals, and developments in the Sushi Swap ecosystem. Thank you all for coming out. Just to start off with Sushinomics. We are down to $15 over the past 2 days. There's been pretty big dip in the whole crypto markets. You know, it happens. Crypto is crypto. Things go up, things go down. 24 hours trading volume over the past 7 days has been about 320, 340 million per day with a utilization ratio of 9%, which is still decent. Um, Moving on to just some news and developments to run over briefly. There was a Popsicle Finance airdrop for users who interacted with SushiSwap on Binance Smart Chain or Phantom. So if you interacted with either of those places, you should check out Popsicle Finance and get your airdrop. There's a weekly sushi social roundup that is sort of like a newsletter that's being posted every week. I think the most recent one came out just a few days ago. You can find it on aoki-roll.medium.com. Uh, yeah, that's put out by Aoki, which is one of the uh, community managers for Sushi Swap. It's it's in text as well, so easier to read. Sertora has finished the formal verification of Cashi that came out a few days ago. They report that swift action was taken by the dev team on all points or considerations that they outlined in their document. You can find it on their Twitter, which is Certora Inc. Certorainc. It's their Twitter handle, or you could just, Certora.com, spelled the same way. You can find the audit document there. It's a pretty good read. It's interesting to go through and look into what they outlined in sort of the resolutions. Um, and Kashi is, as far as I have heard, planned for Friday today or this week. Um, so yeah, Friday is going to be a big day, and then after Kashi comes out, there'll be several proposals that are pushed forward as well. The bonsai proposal, sushi house proposal, a badger incentives proposal, and then a proposal related to the vested sushi. And also just wanted to put a alert here that there's a lot of scams going on recently related to sushi. People impersonating sushi and Discord on Twitter. I think they got sushi.org and then was using that to uh, to basically scam people. So yeah, keep your eyes out. Sushi team members will never ask for your private key or your anything related to your wallet keys. So yeah, just be aware. And there was a tweet put out by Ross, who is one of the developers at Sushi. He strung up a experimental Moloch DAO contract that uses Sushi as the sort of collateral asset in in the DAO. If you don't know what Moloch is, it's sort of like how to describe it? It's like an investment pool, sort of like you join the investment pool by putting money in, and then the entire everybody who's in has shares that represent their amount of capital, and they can all vote to basically uh, put funds towards some grant to fund some project. And if you don't agree with funding a project, you can rage quit before it goes through and just take your money out before it pays it out if the vote wins and you didn't want it to happen. It's sort of like a coordination tool for capital. It's pretty interesting. And then there was also UMA Protocol minted 1 million sushi call contracts at a $35 strike price, expiry for April 30th. And they're pooled on Sushi Swap right now. So if you're bullish on sushi, I would say right now is a decent time to buy those contracts. But yeah, that's interesting to check out. And then also sushi was added to the Korean markets on BitThumb. Just the last major announcements. Oh, sorry. Also, their float protocol is going on right now, and you can actually farm it for sushi. I think you said Harvest Finance has that vault, Orion.
Yeah, well, Float Protocol has their stake sushi thing, but then Harvest has a um you can deposit your sushi into Harvest, and then it will automatically sell the bank tokens, which is the rewards for the Float Protocol, into your sushi. And it's getting around like I think 28% APR there, a little bit less on the Float Protocol.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely worth sitting around in for a few. I don't. How long is the are these sushi pools staying active for float?
I believe it's 2 weeks. Their first they had two phases so far. The first phase, you had to be a whitelisted person who's participated in governance with some DeFi protocols, and that was just with stable coins. And then about 4 days ago, they opened up the second phase, which I believe is 2 weeks as well.
Yeah, it starts March 21st and goes till Sunday, April 4th. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, definitely worth picking up that alpha. And so moving on to proposals, unless did I miss anything, Ryan? Or anybody, if anybody else wants to bring any topics up or propose any topics, feel free to do that as well. This is a totally open format. Okay, assuming nobody has anything that they wanted to bring up. Um,
I mean,
so yeah, go ahead.
I was like thinking like, oh, is it worth it? Saying I'd seen some interesting post on our Discord about uh, from Joseph DeLong, Anarchist Cookbook for Running an Open Organization, from the ETH Denver conference that just took place last month, is up on YouTube. And I thought that was a pretty interesting chance to get one of the sushi team's outlooks on stuff, and a pretty interesting topic. But I don't think it's newsworthy. But I was like, should I mention it? Then I muted myself and then said, why not?
Wait, where did you see? Oh, I see the anarchist cookbook for running an open org. I see. Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely worth checking out. I did not have not checked that out yet. Also Blake Ells. I I don't know. I'm reading on the Float Protocol website. It says phase two. Phase two will last 2 weeks, starting Sunday, 21st March at 10 p.m. UTC and finishing Sunday, 4th of April at 10 p.m. UTC. So I don't really know what you're talking about with the phase three, but also I don't know a lot about float protocol, so I could be wrong. Um, but just moving on. So I'm gonna talk about the NFT proposal first. There was the NATO sushi NFT exchange proposal made by LoveX. I don't think LoveX is here. Is he? No. Sent him a message, but that's okay. I'll talk about it this week, and then we'll probably go over it next week as well if he wants to come out and talk about it. Um, motivation. Capitalize on the exponential growth of global NFT interest, which lacks a community driven NFT trading platform while driving more value to ex sushi holders. Summary: I would like to propose Sushi's NFT exchange and launchpad Na- NATO to the community. As something that has been suggested by the community on more than several occasions, the recent release of Uniswap V3 NFT LP tokens created an even more exciting opportunity in the scope of NFT assets. This proposal would like to offer the sushi community a gas optimized NFT trading platform that supports NFT artists and collectors via a franchised store and personal gallery launchpad, in addition to providing Uniswap V3 NFT LP token holders a seamless selling solution. Now, on the just a short point. I was discussed this with Orion. I'm not exactly it's not clear to me how, um, how these Uniswap V3 NFT LP tokens are gonna be working within this proposal. But I think in general, getting movement in terms of, sort of franchised Sushi Swap branded NFT marketplace is, is a is a really cool opportunity to be able to leverage NFTs. And, there's a lot of people who have already started making and selling NFTs that are like semi branded officially with Sushi Swap. This would just sort of take it to the next step.
I'm a little curious on, I wish we had LevX here, but on like how much of this is coming out of his own like NFT passion versus this is just something like that's shown up in the forums. Because obviously him being one of our lead devs, you, I would want the people working for us to be working from a place of passion and out of interest. And like if I knew that, I would be a lot more gung ho about it. I when we'd spoken earlier, I had some feelings like, oh, are we a little how are we going to take market share from Rarible or OpenSea? Just because they're so entrenched, that's where all the artists know. Um, if you could mute your mic, new person. Thank you. But that was just some like thoughts that had come to my mind. I think that any revenue that sushi can get is really good for us and the fees generated. I just had like some original feelings like, oh, like, is this what is gonna be the best place for our time to be spent in development? Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Good point. Let's see. I did. This was just posted like less than 12 hours ago. But even so, there's been a lot of discussion in the forum. Uh, I think, yeah, Future Fund was like very bullish on the idea. But yeah, we definitely would need to hear. I'm assuming it would be LevX who would be building it out and working on it. I don't know if there's other people he had in mind or something like that. But yeah, I need to be mindful of the amount of workload that we're putting on our devs. That's definitely something to consider. Um, did anybody have any thoughts on the NFT exchange proposal that they wanted to say before we move on? Alrighty. Um, all right. So the other proposal that I had written down to talk about is the Sushi Swap Harvest vesting proposal made by Bread from Harvest Finance. So, so just I'll just I guess just give a sort of summary of the um, circumstances surrounding the proposal. So when you are staking your LP token and earning sushi, you are directly yielding one third of your total yield, and then two thirds is locked away, invested to be paid out 6 months in the future, and that was how it was established at the very beginning of Sushi Swap. And that 6 month mark is like March 29th. It's at like the end of this month. Um, about and so we have and this community voted for a solution to pay those tokens out, and the solution they voted for was a balancer like smart contract um, that will basically have I believe a Merkle tree that tracks all the balances, and then wallets can basically call a function in that vesting sushi contract and then get their balance out. The um I guess the sort of reason why this harvest finance proposal came about is because there is a little bit of a discrepancy in that mechanism, because when a farming smart contract, like I have liquidity and I put it into a pool in Harvest Finance, Sushi ETH, and it's taking the sushi and then selling it for Sushi ETH, and then adding to my LP position, or Pickle, or, any of these vault solutions. Um, the person, the wallet address that is earning the vested sushi portion isn't actually the end user who put the liquidity in, at least from the Merkle tree side. Um, it's the Harvest Finance smart contract, or the Pickle Finance smart contract, that gets allocated those vested sushi. But the intention behind the vested sushi is to go to the end users. Um, and that's been the position for Sushi Team, going back when there's been discussions about this since November. Um, And so basically, the way I understand it is that the Harvest Finance team didn't really understand that, and they knew that this was coming up, and so they thought it was possible that they might not be even be able to claim the sushi, and so they wanted to put forward a vesting solution for the sushi. Um, However, that's not really the plan for the vested sushi. And there'll be, I believe, a proposal to clarify this and have it like an on-chain core proposal to clarify this coming soon after Kashi. Uh, but yeah, that's sort of some of the circumstances around what this proposal is talking about. And then the actual proposal that they're putting forward is basically they would like to claim the vested sushi with a 1 year lockup and 2 year vesting, and in return they'll have additional vaults, I guess, for sushi. Um, I don't know if anybody had any thoughts on this proposal or opinions on anything. It was a pretty active proposal in the Discord, or the forums. Sorry.
I would just add on to that that right now it's not like they're actually adding extra sushi vaults. They added these sushi vaults couple a while ago. I wasn't following it exactly,
Yeah.
and that's where that previous sushi farming the float protocol. They previously just had you deposit your sushi and it stakes it into the sushi bar, which it then loans onto Aave. So they already had these vaults that were using the sushi protocol, and they had migrated their Uniswap, like ETH DAI pools, over to Sushi Swap, and have those pools in instead of doing the like um, not victim, but it's parasitic, maybe is the word I'm looking for, where it auto sells all the sushi. It instead uh, you farm the XDAI ETH, and then it stakes the sushi, kind of like some of the Badger protocols do as well. So it's more symbiotic rather than the like. I remember when we originally had this discussion with Maki back in November, he was like he specifically brought up the Dracula sucks protocol because it literally
Hmm.
it names all the farms that you deposit the LPs as victims, and it auto sells whatever it farms, automatically dumps it, and turns it into ETH in that they distribute to their own users.
Yeah, and I don't know if
And
this is true, but I heard that Dracula Select wasn't even selling the ETH in the Sushi Swap pools. It was using Uniswap pools to sell the ETH.
yeah, yeah, no, so that one like had some particular kind of venom to it in that there was like multiple ways that they were not only kind of parasitic on our platform, but not even giving themselves the best deal by using our liquidity or swapping sushi on our pools, which had a greater liquidity, so it would get them better rates. And sorry, on that long tangent, I was going to say that part of this proposal was also that they were going to have anyone that Harvest is making vaults for, they were going to suggest to them, strongly suggest that they move their liquidity over to Sushi Swap. So that was the part that I was like, oh hell yeah,
Well, I
because
mean that would be cool. That would be cool, but like, what is that? What does a strong suggestion even mean, right?
yeah, yeah, no, it just is their way of making them so it's good marketing that like that they're
Yeah,
really um
it's I the way I am have been thinking about it in my head is that, like the only like the fairest way to do the vested sushi is to just blanket, like, no exceptions to the rule. It all goes out to the end user who uh basically created the vested sushi to begin with, by contributing liquidity. Um because it's like, for one, there's like, if there's a bunch of like protocol to protocol negotiation deals between sushi and all the different protocols that were all farming sushi. That's just, it's like, from a management point, it's a nightmare. It's just, that's hellish. And introduces a lot of volatility in community discussion. I think it's a lot easier and yeah, fair. I mean, that's like the only way I can really think about it, is if it's just, you know sent out to the users who earned it. And I did see some talk in the Harvest Finance Discord, um, dated from like months ago, about how they were, or some people were under the impression that uh, vaults on Harvest were being incentivized with farm, specifically because the Harvest Finance team, um, anticipated the two-thirds sushi not being paid out to the end users. Um, but I don't know if that's true, and even if it is, you know, it doesn't really justify that as like a decision that should have consequences on Sushi Swap's plans for this vested sushi.
yeah, I feel like they subsidize it with farm so that people will use this so that they can get total value locked for their protocol. Because if they didn't subsidize it with farm, then it's just an auto compounding vault, and people would probably, instead of paying all that gas, when you're only dealing with like 30 APR, it makes more sense for you to just farm the sushi on Sushi Swap unless you're dealing with really big numbers. So I feel like that argument that doesn't seem right. They subsidize almost every one of their vaults, so it doesn't
Yeah,
seem
that's
like
the
that
other
had
thing.
anything to do with
It's like,
sushi.
yeah, they have rewards on everything. It's like, but yeah. Um, did anybody else have any thoughts or anything that they wanted to bring up? Everybody's so quiet.
Yeah, so can I just jump in a second?
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
hey,
absolutely. What's up, man?
I'm actually a mod at Harvest Finance, and I think the proposal is pretty clear. You guys have more or less outlined it as it is. Uh, the idea is that we want to try to, going forward, obviously get hold of the sushi, but if that's not possible, um, then we want to also be able to work with the sushi team to distribute it to the end users. So essentially, whatever outcome is decided by your governance, there will be some level of support in order to make it happen.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I believe what like the plans is to basically have the proposal come forward uh after Kashi comes out, because we're gonna have like a number of proposals that are lined up right now. But a proposal to basically, outline specifically that, these protocols will need to either propose and have their own solution ready for the direction of the sushi back to the end user, or sushi themselves will build some smart contract to handle that. Um, but yeah, it's good to hear that you guys are open to working with us on that.
Sure, definitely. I mean, it's something that the devs have been discussing, and they want to make sure that whatever is decided, that there is some support in place, whether it's Harvest gets the sushi, whether it's the end users of Harvest get the sushi. Um, yeah, they're planning to work with the teams in order to make that process of distribution sort of as easy and simple as possible.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I'll Yeah, we were talking in private messages. So yeah, I will sort of be able to message you and try to get you in touch with some of the team members to better have you guys be informed on that front.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we're going to be following the proposal with interest and see where it ends up.
Sorry, Ryan. Did you have any topics that I have not talked about yet that you wanted to bring up?
Um, well, I had one of those brain fart moments where there was something that I was specifically thinking in regards to this, and then it definitely slipped my mind. One of the thoughts was, so how do we different like I guess it would be obvious. Like the thought that one of the thoughts that came up was that so what happens if that contract is like using their treasury or something to then farm that we would be able to differentiate between so then it would just go directly to their yeah because it would be separate from the contract itself. uh yeah, so that one I kind of answered to myself. The thought was, obviously it should be figured out beforehand, but there's part of me that feels like, especially we're dealing with two protocols that have had um, a like exploit that they're currently trying to pay back their customers for. So I feel like there should be some room for protocols to like beforehand agree upon certain allocations, being able to cover other expenses as long as they're agreed about beforehand and the user knows. Whereas in the starting phase, it was complete ambiguity, so you can't really do that. But I'm just thinking Pickle and Harvest, they have their grain and their reimbursement plans. Um, so the thought comes up as like some um, should it be up to uh, should there be any wiggle room for protocols to be able to earmark vested funds for other things that benefit end users, which I guess just complicates things too much. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I believe the desire going forward for that fourth proposal that, clarifies the vested sushi situation is that after we start paying out the vested sushi, um will basically drop the vested sushi part entirely, and it'll just be full payouts going forward. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's still when you look at the Ponzi-nomics of having a part of your APRs now, part later, it allows you to have maintain higher APRs for a longer time. So I have some fears that it will like slightly hurt the protocol to give out the whole money. Luckily, I think there's enough people that see the value and have faith in what we're developing that we aren't just another farm token to dump. So it won't be as much of a problem, but I think there's a lot of benefits to having a vesting schedule. You see it done a lot on Binance Smart Chain, and it's been really effective for the protocols that have done it compared to the ones that haven't. Because, I mean, so much of farming is kind of like get your earnings while it's there. You don't know what the future of these farm tokens are, so secure that profit while you can.
Yeah, but
So yeah,
also on the flip side, it'll be like a permanent boost to the staking APYs. So it'll be like whatever incentives were in place for liquidity to be in Sushi Swap already, it'll be basically three times, that, or it'll have 60% more power, not three times. Or is it three times? You got yeah, no, it's three times.
yeah. Yeah, so the bigger numbers do increase people wanting to stake liquidity. I guess my thoughts right there are that um, our rates are there aren't that many opportunities for farming on Ethereum right now, that of the caliber of tokens that Sushi Swap adds. So it's not like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, now it's more profitable for me to come over and farm sushi. And I feel like our liquidity is our strongest asset. So that isn't something that we're lacking in needing to incentivize at a factor of 3x or anything. So my inner feelings, having not thought about it too much, are that it will hurt us a tiny bit, but I have no idea. That's just my initial impression.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's totally valid. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut somebody off.
Hi, I just wanted to pop up regarding this vesting. As a disclaimer, I have no sushi investing, but I think actually it's depending a lot what you can do with sushi to dump or not dump. So connected with that, I think is related to Kashi, to the proposal in MakerDAO to use sushi as a collateral. So if we have many options to use X sushi and to keep the sushi and get some I don't know if you need some stables to use or something else. You actually don't need to dump the sushi. Sushi will become, I like it to feel it simple like Bitcoin. Like keep the sushi and use it to take if you need stables to buy something else. And now connected to that, I want to I don't know to suggest a topic regarding the lending. For me, it's very important that sushi become valuable because you can use it. So now we have this option with Aave. Actually, I use both. I use Aave, I use Cream. Uh, I'm not so happy with the fact that collateral is low in Aave. I would like it much higher. Actually, I was forced to sell some sushi considering this dump in these days to to avoid to be liquidated. And I'm waiting for cashing. Become Friday, becoming the new meme, no? I think everybody knows the funny things. It is Friday again with the guy jumping from the car. From the car. Let's hope it remain like that, because the dump stop. Friday is Friday again, and we start again going up. So my point is, what is your opinion about using more Xsushi? Eventually, if the team or somebody with more influence can approach Aave and to increase the collateral value, I'm expecting a lot from Kashi. for sure I will lose market DAO because the interest will be around 2%, and it's very good. So I'm not so concerned about this fact of vesting, because if any of us can use sushi, and even user can understand that keeping sushi long term, stacking for each sushi, and then taking the money that you need for your needs, for your investment, keeping all the time sushi, I think it will become a token not easy to find out, because it will be more stuck. So I would like to see more PR regarding that. Keep big sushi, use it in MakerDAO. I think in 2 days it will finish the vote, and the vote is overwhelming in favor to use the sushi. Increase the possibility to use it in Aave. Cream, it's okay, it's in our ecosystem, but the interest is quite high. So I would like more discussion in this aspect, the use of Sushi, to keep the Sushi, to not sell it, to avoid the dump.
Yeah, I totally agree that the more interoperability and sort of DeFi, uh, like the more places that are built out to support X Sushi, like MakerDAO, which I was just looking at, it looks like this is definitely going to pass. It's like 90% approval with about 3 days left on MakerDAO. Definitely add value and allow people to, what's the word? Recapitalize? No, I think recapitalize is the word I'm looking for. No, rehypothesize their capital.
I prefer it to use it like you don't need to sell it. I'm from the beginning with sushi. I'm intending to stay a long time. I see we have a lot of options in this year, so I have absolutely no interest to sell. I was very upset that I needed to to sell some to cover the lending. So I'm thinking that many will understand the sushi ecosystem, how it's evolving, and will like to keep sushi long term. So then it will be not so much pressure on selling if you can take the money that you need and keep the token to appreciate, considering that it's actually double stacking, because in order to get a loan or to use it in any of the lending platform, and I expect Kashi to give us very good treatment from the interest, from the value lock, from the collateral. So you need to stack X sushi first. Second, you need to put it in the lending protocols. Actually, you stack it twice. So the pressure to sell that X sushi will become lower and lower, because I would prefer to keep it stuck in X sushi, stuck in the lending protocol, use the amount of money that I need, and let the token grow with the ecosystem, with additional features, additional. I don't know what will happen, because with Maki we can expect anything in 1 month, 2 months, something nobody think of.
Yeah. Also, on the what did you mean when you were talking about Cream? Is there do they have like a really high collateralization ratio for X Sushi or something like that?
Okay, thanks for asking. I'm speaking also, maybe some other token holders will be interesting. They don't use it because maybe they are afraid that it's working good or not. So the difference between, for example, now we have Aave and Cream. The difference is in Cream you can use up to 60% of your collateral. Okay. In Aave you can use up to 25%. Now this is first part. Second part is, in Cream, yes, you can use up to 60%, but in stables you have like a minimum double interest. For example, now it's around 20-25%, but can go even 50, 60, 70, and it's always variable. So it's not a stable. In Aave, you can have maximum 25% of collateral. You can borrow up to maximum 25%, but the interest, it's usually much lower than Cream, like half. For example, now in stables is around 11-12%, and you have also the option to choose a stable rate. For example, when you borrow the money, you can see that it's I don't know, variable, it's 11-12%, and a stable, it's a different. So I put, to give my personal example, I put in sushi, I put sushi in Aave, and I get like 10% API to borrow against. Compared to cream, which is more than 20, 25, 30, it's okay. I'm expecting makers to have even better, because you'll have like 50% possibility to borrow against the collateral, and the interest rate will be around 2%. So probably many will use, if they are comfortable with using different protocol, use Maker in the future. Second thing is regarding the fees. Anytime you interact with the lending protocol, you need to pay some fees. Again, here also, Cream has some fees to interact with their contracts, usually almost double the fees that you pay in Aave. So my suggestion is, somebody wants to use Xsushi, wants to use a small amount of collateral, don't want to borrow big money, use Aave for the moment. Tomorrow, Friday again, let's see what will bring out.
Well, that's the thing with these platforms, right? It's like Aave and Cream, it's all variable, so it could change by the day.
Actually, in Aave, you have the option to choose not to be changed by the day. You can
Oh,
choose
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
temporary, and if you are more comfortable with that, I am more comfortable with that, use that. Then again, if you, for example, now the price of the token is very low, in my opinion, doesn't justify this price. If you want to bet more in sushi, you go in Cream, put your Xsushi, and buy up to 60%. It's like a leverage, somehow more complicated leverage, and you pay a lot of gas fees. But I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about that somebody has some investment in sushi, don't want to sell in long term, but from time to time wants to take some profit, wants to take some money for personal expenses, want to invest in a different token, a small part. For example, you have, I don't know, let's put 10,000K you have in sushi, and you don't want to sell for this year because you expect big thing from sushi. Put it in a lending protocol and maybe borrow 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 and invest in a different I don't invest in whatever, invest in it or whatever. So this is the reason. In that situation, I think also the pressure for selling will become lower, and even the people will have something to do with the token, except the appreciation in the long term, except the stacking in sushi, which I believe it will increase with the revenue from cash.
Yeah. Kashi, I've been definitely waiting for Kashi to deposit my WBTC in particular, just because I been there's other places you can put it. They can earn like 22%, but a lot of places have like fees on top, and I'm like, if I'm waiting for Kashi, or am I paying the fee, and I'm not even gonna make enough on the interest to pay the fee, and yeah. So Kashi, I
Yeah,
think, will be a big value add for placing, for like taking loans out against X Sushi, as well as MakerDAO. MakerDAO will be massive.
I forgot one important thing, because I'm talking about the practical fact why you can use it, why it's good to not sell, to keep it. But let's talk about the security. I'm expecting Kashi to be the most secure protocol of all. Maybe Maker, and then Aave, and then Cream. Cream had some issue in the past. Okay, I think they are a very good team. I think they are doing a great job. But I'm expecting Kashi to be the most secure, because we have so many audits, we have the strong team. So if somebody also is concerned using a protocol, not only for the fees, not only for the interest, not only for the maximum collateral, but for the security, probably I'm expecting Kashi to be the top protocol, from considering all these aspects.
Yeah, and that's like honestly the biggest reason why Kashi's taken so long to get out. It's because we've been doing so many audits and formal verifications, and really, like, the team really was taking security very seriously and wanted to get it right. But Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Well, thank you, Edward, for that in-depth kind of overview on some of the ways that you can use your sushi in DeFi right now. I agree that the Aave collateral ratio is insanely low. I don't think they have it that low on any of their other um, assets. I think that's partly because it was just accepted. I know a lot of the lending protocols kind of increase the collateral ratio at as time progresses and as they feel more secure in the asset's value. I think that it does bring up a good point in the importance of content. Like Sushi has done amazing in business development, and just integration into protocols should be a top priority. Um, and how we can get active in other corporations or other coins governance is a real important focus for going in the future.
Um, Regarding since we're talking about collateral ratios and everything like that, with Kashi, will there be a set ratio, like you can borrow up to X%, or will it be um, a curve depending on the amount of liquidity that's in there, or how exactly would that work?
So I know that the rate the um the the return the interest rate is variable based on the utilization, with trying to, if I recall correctly, aim for an 80% utilization ratio. The collateral ratio, I believe, will be based upon the assets, that they'll be specific to certain assets. I know that we're trying to, like, part of the goal of Kashi was to create lending pairs for many different types of coins that you can't really find otherwhere else. Like, one of the benefits, we're talking on these lending platforms, of Cream versus Aave is they offer a lot more assets. And um, if we're going to be offering a lot of assets, we're probably going to have to have conservative collateral ratios for some of the more volatile, or else, I mean, people will just get wrecked, because if a volatile asset will just cause liquidations. But I don't recall a specific announcement on collateral ratios from the team. I've been there for many of their talks, but that aspect I didn't get any hard figures on. But yeah, that's my overall impression.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I can't find the document right now, but it does. Yeah, it targets between 70 and 80% utilization ratio. So I not reading from the Medium post updating about Kashi. I believe it's gonna be like pretty standard, where like you need like 150% of 150% of your um, loan has to be in collateral at a minimum. Some system like that, basically. But um, yeah, I believe it's 70 to 80% utilization is what it's targeting. And yeah, the big advantage there is just that anybody can make any pair. So instead of waiting for platforms to add assets like X Sushi, for instance. We've been waiting so long for Aave to add X Sushi or Cream to add X Sushi. Though they did add it a few months ago, but there was still a delay there. Cashi will be basically a platform where as soon as a token is out, people can create lending pairs with it.
Yeah, this is my understanding. My understanding also. Your question was very on point. I think it will be an authorization very high, 17%, and it will be a curve. If I remember well, the post of Boring Crypto, it says something like that. In order to incentivize the maximum utilization and also the rate, the the rate will be variable and will increase, decrease based on the utilization. Actually, I expect more from the Kashi. I think it's a primary product of Bento Box. I'm expecting a lot from the full Bento Box Plus, where it looks it will be possible from our total value locked, which is used now only 10%, to use part of that value for lending. So it will be a huge market. Imagine the same amount of as Aave be available for lending if we continue to use only 10% for trading. So actually, I'm expecting big from Kashi. I'm sure that for each sushi holder being a product of sushi ecosystem, I think it will have one of the best rates and the best collateral utilization. Personally, I don't suggest to anybody to use such high utilization, 70%, because you never know, like these days.
Yeah, it's pretty. People who go that far are pretty crazy. That's like you're on the
Or you have
verge
some
of being
or,
liquidated.
or you use it only for one day to day, but actually, it's no matter how much I believe in sushi, and I don't use more than 20-30% as collateral, still I was forced to sell some sushi to cover. So I would not suggest even if it will be possible, but who knows? Everybody different needs. Maybe use it for an hour, for 2 hours. Everybody has different needs. It will be good for everybody, for sushi ecosystem, for the commission, and also for the people to have the choice. If you like Kashi, use Kashi. If you like Aave or Maker, you can use. I think everybody will be more familiar with a system or another, so the user base will increase.
I just wanted to add on to the conversation that part of the beauty of Kashi and of Bento Box is that the collateral you use that isn't being lent out, that is actually going to, like, the Bento Box will be using that for capital efficiency to earn more on your money. For instance, if you're lending out sushi, it will take the sushi that no one has borrowed yet and turn it into X sushi to get you extra yield on that. It will also involve compostability with other DeFi projects to be able to build on top of it. So even it's just another reason why, even if our collateral ratios were is terrible as like that 25% in Aave, that it still will add massive value that these other protocols aren't. This is kind of it's very innovative, and there yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here, because it involves a lot of opening for building upon it that you're not going to see elsewhere.
Yeah, fully agree. It's Friday again.
Yeah, I was trying to find the. Pretty sure there's like a Medium post or something that was like the most recent update about Kashi, but I am just not
Wasn't
having.
there the dev docs? If you look at your summary for maybe last week or the week before, I believe you linked to it, like,
Oh, did I?
because I remember being hyped about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll find it later, but um, am trying to rack my brain. Is there any topic that anybody would like to discuss that they think I missed or didn't bring up?
I think Arbitrum is planned to launch sometime in April. Is that right?
I'm not sure about Arbitrum.
Okay, I just know Sushi said they plan to launch their layer 2 on Arbitrum compared to like Optimism where Uni is. So I was just wondering.
Oh yeah, who said that?
Me, Blakel's.
Wait, who?
Wait, like
No,
me? Who
he
am
meant
I?
what was
Or
your source of
Sorry,
information?
No, sorry, I meant who was the dev that said that about Arbitrum?
I think there was a post on Arbitrum's Twitter or something like that saying they released their mainnet candidate. It's still, testnet, but that's their first official mainnet candidate, and they planned for sometime in April. But I could be completely wrong. I might have just heard it in like a Telegram or something.
What it might because you might have misinterpreted it as being like the like official Sushi Swap or like migrating to Arbitrum, but Sushi Swap has deployed contracts on a whole list of different side chains and EVM compatible chains, Binance Smart Chain, all the test nets. I think one of the test nets for Arbitrum is what I was familiar with. Phantom, XDAI, Stake. There's been a bunch, but yeah, I don't know. I'll look into that. I wasn't aware.
So my impression from the team was that they're letting the layer 2 thing kind of develop a little bit further. They're not trying to be on the cutting edge of layer 2, and that where they were leaning was on um the Starkware side was where I recall them, which deal with ZK zero knowledge rollups. But so I didn't think it was Arboretum was our main layer 2 solution. But I'm kind of pulling this out of the back of my head, so I can't really say that with 100% knowledge.
Yeah, and there's also that multi-chain thing. Is that with Arbitrum?
I don't believe that that is connected to Arbitrum. Yeah, honestly, I need to research more though. So
Yeah, Andre like retweeted like a I don't know, a picture of showing all the different platforms, protocols, chains, and everything that are connected via multi-chain, and it is basically everything. But I can't find docs, and I'm really confused as to what this multi-chain thing is. But that'll be
I sent you a message on
yeah, I
Telegram.
saw
I
that.
think.
It doesn't. Um,
Yeah, I didn't double check it, so maybe I shouldn't be bringing that up. But yeah, I I thought that was through AnySwap was the one that did the bridge. So I'd assume their documents would have more information. I do remember Andre's post and it being very like listing everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if Arbitrum is there.
well, that'll be research for this week. Another added to the list. um, but I think that basically covers everything for this week. We'll be having Kashi come out. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing it on Friday.
Just one
In
question.
Oh, yeah,
I was late to the call. I was probably 10 minutes late. There was an action from last week's call on the Ray proposal did for the developers to meet. Was that covered early on?
Do you mean? Do you?
Good. You guys, mom.
Hey, the Griffa, could you mute your mic? So you were asking about the bonsai proposal in terms of like the Radium team meeting with Sushi.
Yes.
Yeah. We've been talking in basically like back channels and direct messages to coordinate on that, and that is going to be moved forward after Kashi comes out on Friday. We have like 4 proposals all lined up that will be pushed to the core snapshot. Um, and they'll be pushed then, and the final form of those proposals will be up either Friday or Saturday or Sunday, like a few days after or a day after Kashi. Is the plan? It's basically to try to make like a big shockwave that sort of everybody in crypto hears something about Sushi Swap all at once.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
No problem, man.
I just wanted to add on to that. It's I don't know if you were there for the last talk, but it seemed like most of the details were hammered out, other than just a misunderstanding in terms of the total allocation points and also the amount of allocation points they were seeking. Um, and then I was also curious on what exactly the Badger incentives voting thing is, because that hasn't been discussed too fully. I assume it has to do with the clause and the what was the other Badger thing? I have just Badger incentives, but is there any more information on what that vote's going to be about?
No, no, unfortunately, I don't have. Yeah, I have not seen anything about that. That was like I believe privately proposed to like between developers, I think. But that's still going to be a proposal that is pushed to core and will have to be voted on. But I have not seen anything about it. I believe it is related to the B Badger and A Badger tokens. Just in terms of like I think they're in the Onsen program, but they want more allocation points, I guess, because like they split it up among their tokens. It's pretty low incentivization. Um, but yeah, I don't really have any details about it because I haven't seen it. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. Thank you everybody for coming out and listening and talking, and everybody who brought topics forward and had questions. Thank you so much. That is awesome to see. Orion, thank you for coming out again. You're the boss.
Always a pleasure, and yeah, thank you for everyone that participated. I love hearing more voices on the call and turning this really into a forum.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. I will see you next week. Same time, same day, Thursdays, 9 p.m. UTC. Stay safe, guys.